the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Ramon Sanchez Jr.
All right, make sure you keep your voice up so that I can hear you and the court reporter can hear you.
All right.
Could I introduce the case a little bit, Your Honor?
Yes.
This, first of all, I want the court to understand that I'm not in any way meaning my remarks to suggest that Mr. Sanchez doesn't accept his responsibility 100% in this case. But there are some aspects that are a little unique, and I wanted to make sure the court understood that. I think they're mitigating. Okay, the main thing is that Mr. Sanchez was at home on the night of this incident. I think he was on his driveway listening to music. He was going through a problem with his wife, a divorce, possibly some family issues. So his son drove by and fired shots at the house, hitting Mr. Sanchez in the hand. He actually, I believe, fired a whole clip, but he hit Mr. Sanchez. He's the only one that got injured. His wife called the police. So the police came to the scene and investigated. Now, in the course of that investigation, now Mr. Sanchez does not have good impulse control. He got very upset, not at the police, but at his son, essentially, and the whole situation. Number two, he was not taking the medication that he should have been. Of course, that's a common problem. We all know that. But it just sort of added fuel to the fire of his emotional problem. But he did not, he was not attacking the police. He was extremely upset. And I've looked at the video, and I can assure you that he lost control of his emotions. And so he got into essentially a verbal argument with the police over some trivial thing, which then led to a confrontation, which then led to him being detained and handcuffed, at which point he got upset and did not cooperate, as he should have. And an officer suffered a broken little finger as a result. And he understands that it was his doing that caused that. But it was a situation where he wasn't a defendant, you know, in a case that was being investigated. He wasn't being arrested. He was actually a victim of a shooting. And it was that situation that created this case. Now, he has a bad record, no question about it. I mean, he's not applying for probation. I'm just suggesting to the court that a more just or fair sentence, given the circumstances, would be, say, 3 years as opposed to 5. Now, I know Mr. Sanchez would like to address the court himself. Could I call him, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you've stated your name for the record. If you could restate it again, please.
My name is Ramon Sanchez.
All right, defense, you may ask your questions.
Thank you. Ramon, is there anything you'd like the judge to know about what happened that day or that evening?
I mean nothing, no bad towards the cops or anything. It's just I was emotionally going through a divorce at the time.
Mhm.
You know, due to my drug abuse. I stay at my mom's house because I was a provider for dialysis. And
What kind of medication were you on at the
I
time?
take Naprexa, Lexapro, and Depakote, 750, 500 milligrams. I'm diagnosed with bipolar PTSD and
Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia. And now that I've been on my medication, I haven't been in trouble. I've been in the county almost 10 months.
Now, at the time, you were on different medication
Yes, I was.
and you weren't taking
No, I was abusing alcohol.
and abusing alcohol.
Yes.
Okay.
But I will ask the court to see if I could have some kind of help, you know, mental help.
No. So in sum, Your Honor, we're asking the court to take those aspects of the case into consideration in forming a a sentence.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Sanchez, which hand were you shot?
My right hand.
And why were you not taking the medications that were prescribed to
Because
you
I
at the
was
time?
drinking at the time, sir.
So you were able to access those medications, correct?
Yes,
But you chose not to take
I
them,
chose not to.
and you chose to consume alcohol instead.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Could be worse. You know, I had CPS took my kids away from me. I couldn't see them until I needed to join the program, and I decided not to leave the drugs and alcohol, because I had UA stuff like that. But now I've been on my medication 10 months. I could think better, and I know what I want for myself, for my kids, and be there for the last years of my mom's life.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, why was your son shooting at you?
He was upset. So I had got in an argument with him and told him that I didn't want him around my mom's house if he was going to come asking for money.
All right, I still don't understand how that translates into guns being pulled.
Well, he suffers from his bipolar himself,
So what happened with his case?
It was dismissed. They never followed up with it.
So you're saying he shot at you and the case was dismissed?
Yeah. Well, they never made a case out of it.
And how did this translate to an assault on an officer for you?
Well, at the time when they came, they asked me what was going on. I told them that I was okay. And they still wanted to see my hand. I told them they should call an ambulance instead of cops trying to arrest me. And I started arguing with them. I flipped out on them, man.
Well, you said that they wanted to see your hand
Yes,
because a
I was
call had
bleeding.
come in that
Yeah.
you were shot.
yes.
I don't see how that translates into them wanting to arrest you. When you say they're just there to ask you
Yeah,
what happened to your hand.
I blacked out, man.
I think what happened, Your Honor, was that they were I think he overheard a conversation. According to the police report, he overheard a conversation between the police and I think his son. I think they were talking to his son on the phone. He got upset. He got emotionally upset. Not any rational reason. And it was then when they were detaining him after he got upset that this happened. So it doesn't excuse what happened. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. It doesn't mean he's not guilty. But that was the circumstance. And I don't think there's any question that he was shot. That's a fact.
All right. Is there anything else?
No.
Any other witnesses?
No.
State criminal history? Any objections to the court reviewing the criminal history?
No.
So do you have gang affiliation?
No, ma'am. I'm a ex-member of a Mex Mafia.
Okay.
Choose my family over that prison stuff.
All right. He does have a long criminal history.
He does, no question.
State.
Thank you.
We'll hear argument.
Well, Your Honor, again, my argument is only that in order for this sentence to be correctly reflect these facts, I believe that a lesser sentence.
So things go from bad to way worse. It starts as a simple argument with police, nothing crazy. But then boom, it escalates fast. He's handcuffed, loses control, and somehow an officer ends up with a broken finger. Like, how do you go?
Would be justified. I think I would urge the court to consider 3 years. He's going to do time, but again, this isn't a situation where he was a possible defendant or a suspect that was resisting arrest. It was not a situation where he was doing something antagonistic to the police. He was actually a victim of a shooting, and he was extremely emotionally out of control himself. He had a lot of difficulties. And so in this situation, this injury happened. And I think it's fair that he do prison time for it. But I think a 3-year sentence would be better reflect what happened than a 5-year sentence.
State?
As I understand it, Mr. Sanchez began to use alcohol and stopped using his medication in response to an emotionally difficult moment in his life. And while I have a certain measure of sympathy for him and the pain that he experienced and the desire that he had to no longer experience that pain, nevertheless, the choice to use alcohol rather than his medication was his choice. His response to the officers was his choice. I think a cap of 5 correctly reflects the circumstances of the offense. Mr. Sanchez.
Just 1 second. Everyone, can you all whisper? All right, you may continue.
The circumstances of the offense, Mr. Sanchez's response to it, his criminal history, and the fact that it was, in part, a reflection of the choices that he made up to and including those moments.
All right. There's going to be a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. I'm going to ask for the therapeutic community or the mental health unit at the prison. I don't have jurisdiction over that. You'll have to ask for it as well. And maybe they'll put you in the program, maybe they will not. Based upon your history and past affiliations, you say they're past affiliations, they may not accept you. But if you don't ask for it, you definitely will not be placed in it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the court is taking in consideration 2024 CR 2931. And the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yeah.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you don't have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. I want you to know that your attorney put forth good arguments for you.
Yes.
I have to weigh certain things, right? I do have to consider your criminal history. He'll tell you, I've been a defense attorney before, and I always think when you're calling on people as repeaters and habituals, if they wouldn't have that, maybe there would be a different plea bargain agreement with regards to this case. But those are things I have to take in consideration, and also taking in consideration the circumstances surrounding this. But your history, you have a violent history, then you have this. Then
The judge is trying to make sense of this story. And honestly, same. She's like, wait, your son shot at you because of an argument. And even she can't connect the dots. You can hear the disbelief because yeah, that escalation makes absolutely no sense. This case just keeps getting crazier.